Hi there, welcome back to another episode of the Chaosium House RuneQuest campaign, The Tales of the White Bull. I'm Jeff Richard, and I will be your GM tonight. With me are Neil Robinson, Richard August, Philip Glass, Claudia Loroff, and Linda Borgen. And we're just going to dive right in. The players I think before we enter Boldhome, which was where we were at the end of the last session. And I found a picture that somebody has done for Boldhome. And can I get screen sharing for 2 seconds?
Yeah, just one moment. Sorry about that.
No problem.
No, fart. Okay,
There we
Zoom
are.
power is enabled. Go ahead.
It's enabled. Okay. I just thought this was a cool overview here. This is kind of the scene coming towards Boldhome. It's below freezing. It's snowing a little bit. And Boldhome is in these high mountains. So you can see a little bit of a valley here. And you're coming here and coming to the city on the day of the most important holy day of the Orlanth cult. And Boldhome is the center of the Orlanth cult in Dragon Pass. So you know that the things that you do when you enter Boldhome will have magical significance in what it is that you all plan to do for Argrath. And so prior to starting the session, I know that there's been some discussions and planning here, and I think we want to continue a little bit with what your plan is, because the first thing that you have to do upon entering into Boldhome is present yourself to the prince with all these gifts. You're not going to be able to sneak your way into the city with a herd of 100 cattle, a bunch of warriors, without presenting yourself to the prince. That's just, you're going to have to do that. And I'm sure that's what your characters have already been planning on doing. But how you do that, what gifts you present, what you say to her, and how you frame this will likely, because you're doing this on a high holy day, right? So a magically charged day anyways, will have an effect on what you try to do in the hero quest that is going to be starting in just a couple weeks. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you all, unless anybody has any questions.
Well, I think we'll get them as we go. I'm sure we'll have lots of questions.
So last you all were talking, you had the idea that the Lightbringer's quest that she's performing is likely going to be based on the traditional sacred time rituals. And on the sacred time is a 2-week period that occurs at the end of the year and before the beginning of the year. So it's kind of this magical period between the normal year, when there's all sorts of magical activities that go on to regenerate the world and carry it forward into another year.
And that's the coming of spring, Jeff, really, isn't it?
It's the coming of spring, yes. It's the end of winter, the coming of spring. It's the rebirth of the world. And it's a 2-week festival and series of magical events. And on the 8th day of this, the person during these ceremonies that represents Orlanth, along with Orlanth's Lightbringer companions, faces 3 challenges. And so there's been discussion that given that Argrath wants you all to magically test Taller and determine whether she's worthy of it, this would be the place to do it, because it is actually a point in these rituals where the person carrying out the Orlanth role is supposed to get challenged. And so the discussions have been, how can you make sure that you all are the ones that give her the challenges, and what should those challenges be? Does that characterize what the discussions have been?
Yeah.
And then how to get the role for, we've got a pretty good idea of what we can do for a number of people, like Gina, who's going to, be as an Earth Queen, as a God, sorry,
not Earth Queen, Death Queen,
yeah.
Death Queen.
And Garen is Humat, and for the spirit, but we could have Kala, but for Kulbrast and Nisk, it's a bit more challenging.
I'm having this megalomaniac moment, thinking, why not jump in as Arachne Solara at the end to catch the devil?
That's the very, very end of the ceremony. And of course,
I know.
it should be worth mentioning that if you participate in this ritual, even as the challenger, you're participating in the ritual.
Yeah.
And so you'll be brought into you'll be part of her hero quest, even if you're cast as people that are something of an adversary.
Yeah.
And our mission from Argrath is to challenge her, not to injure her, but to test her as much as possible, because if she can't withstand our tests, she doesn't deserve being called prince.
It did voice a concern of not being able to control the powers that would be unleashed also, which of course might just be him packing it in nicely, but he fears she is not aware of what forces and powers she will be awakening, which is a bit strange because the Lightbringer's quest has been performed several times. So what's new?
Well, normally it is performed. This is a good question. Normally it's performed every year in a very ceremonial, stage crafted way, but it has not been performed in any sort of big magical way in a long time. I mean, whenever your people talk about the Lightbringer's quest being done by somebody, they're almost always talking about a hero, Harmast Barefoot, who did the Lightbringer's quest more than 1,000 years ago. Normally, when people try to do the Lightbringer's quest like Harmast did it, in kind of this big magical way, it fails disastrously. Because it's a very, very to try to do it other than the way that people do it always is very dangerous.
What was the result of Harmast's success?
The result of Harmast's success is Harmast brought Arcat, a very dangerous hero from the first stage, who is the nemesis of the chaos god Gabaji. And Arcat was an entity capable of defeating Gabaji, and he did, but he did it at a terrible price. Betrayed humanity to the trolls, and devastated entire lands. And amongst the Orlanthi, Arcat has a very mixed record. I mean, he's the greatest chaos fighter of all time, so Stormbolt likes him. But he also sold humans out to the trolls when humans proved to be less useful to him than the trolls. And keep in mind, trolls eat humans. Trolls are darkness things. Selling humanity out to the trolls.
And he became a troll.
And he became a troll, or revealed himself to be a troll in the end. And that's
what I'd do if I was Arcat. So I mean, you can blame him.
Point is, that's a successful one. Yeah. Is another 25 years of unbelievably destructive war.
So the question then is, what is Kaller trying to awaken or game this hero quest? Like, I don't think we've actually asked that question. What is?
I don't think anybody knows.
No.
And I mean, there hasn't been a Prince of Sartor in a long time, generation.
No.
So I think part of her is that basically putting herself in and confirming her as the Prince of Sartor.
Okay, so what would she need to do to actually ritually, magically assert herself as the Queen of Sartar, the Prince of Sartar?
I think you have to be able to light the flame, which proves that you are a descendant
That you're,
of Sartor.
That you're of the House of Sartar.
And what better way to light the flame? If you think about lighting a fire that had been extinguished,
with the pole star.
Well, that's also symbolically identical to bringing the sun back, because the sun has been extinguished.
Yeah.
Because the light bringers, and again, you know, these words, a lot of Glorantha commentators forget that these words have very plain meaning. The Lightbringer's quest is to bring, you know, it brought the sun back into the sky.
From the great darkness, right?
From the darkness, and ended the darkness. Lighting the flame of Sartar, does that sound symbolically similar? You know, the flame of Sartar has been extinguished for a generation. Being able, and so the way a lot of magic works is, of course, similar things are similar. And so a Lightbringer's quest is similar to relighting a extinguished flame. And so that would be sympathetic magic.
What if she's trying to light it permanently or something with the pole star, which is never extinguished out of the sky? I mean, I'm just like thinking, what's she doing? Because why is she bringing the pole star into this? There has to be significance, and she's trying something majorly new. So,
well, and for people that don't understand what this discussion about the pole star is on all of this, pretty much what everybody in Sartar knows Kalar Starbrow as the Prince of Sartar, the pole star, Queen of the Keldan tribe. She's from the Keldan tribe and is a great granddaughter of one of the princes of Sartar, Serenel. She has hero quested to gain powers directly from the pole star, and a star adorns her forehead. That's the reason that she's called Starbrow. She has a star on her brow. And that's people it's known that is somehow tied to the pole star.
So can she shoot laser beams out of her star from her forehead?
Does anybody have a relationship with Kalar Starbrow? Has anybody fought on her side? I believe not.
I don't think so. But...
Probably not.
Nope.
Okay, so what is our plan to get our 100 beasts and other presents, gifts into the city?
Well, we announce our presence as emissaries, and I'm going to say that I'm going to use some rune magic because my hope is that I will get rune magic back, and I will cast Charisma, which is a rune spell with extension, so that I'm able to basically keep it going and not have to worry about it for the conversation, until sacred time. Well, I take that back, until the holy day is done, because otherwise I don't get the magic back.
I have a different idea. I could ask in the Naldo temple, because they have their own stables, fields, and whatever. For a fee, I'm pretty sure we can also put our animals there in care.
We're going to give these, they're for Keller, right? We're just going to give them. We're just going to make sure that we make a big presence, we go in and show them.
If we ride up the main street of Boldhome with 100 cows at the front, trumpeting, we are the emissaries of Argrath. That's going to be.
You're going to have a banner.
Yeah, but you do not get them up the stairs. How do you get them up the stairs?
Details.
Okay.
They have places where
we'll get peasants to carry them up the stairs.
As long as the guards come and they claim and they recognize us, and because they're going to have to bring like a a big guy for that, you know, we'll get their honor that they will agree to do it in that. I mean, these are, you know, it's going to be, they're not going to have some little food there, take it as we go through, because they're not going to want us to come in, or we have to prove where we are coming in.
Okay.
But I like, someone mentioned before we started recording that we should really gift that tooth in a spectacularly dragon waking way.
There's two sets of gifts, right? To me, there's gifts that you're giving for the hero quest, and then the gifts that you're giving for the personal gifts. And I would give the gifts that we're giving towards the hero quest, specifically the shield, I think the dragon tooth and that, we offer those kind of separately so that we have a better opportunity to be more involved in the ritual.
Yeah.
Okay,
you could maybe even present the gift during the ritual at an inopportune moment.
I think it's even better, right? Let's present the gift of the shield at that. That could be really interesting.
I just want to throw out a nagging doubt that some characters might have is, would she be more likely to accept a gift, a strange gift, as she's performing her hero quest, or is she more likely to accept a strange gift from people that have shown up previously to this? And I want to also emphasize, today is Orlanth's High Holy Day, so it's a magically charged day regardless. And
so you're saying you think there may be concerns, and you know,
people tend to get paranoid about gifts
on the hero quest.
During a hero quest, because everybody knows during a hero quest. I'm telling you guys stuff that your characters might know that you all don't. In all of the stories, people get very nervous about being given.
But we want her to get nervous. That's the whole point. We have to test her in some way, and one way is to make her nervous about her role in the hero quest. And I mean, Argrath told us, you know, don't worry about her actually accepting the gifts. So it doesn't really care. He just wants us to use the gifts in
very true.
Maybe we do give her the shield now, though, because that will be, you know, it's a pretty amazing shield and who it's from. And if she likes it enough, she may use it, but of her own choice. But accepting it now will help identify.
Yeah, but if we give it to her now, it certainly won't be in the ritual, I could imagine, because it's.
I don't know. I mean, that's the challenge. Or
if she wants to play, yeah. But if she wants to play or be Orlanth in the ritual, she can't run around with a pole star.
I mean, the other way is to basically sneak it into the arming of Orlanth ritual,
which is part of an early part of the. I mean, that is another alternative bit. Okay, so part of what goes on that you all are doing in this hero quest, to explain to anybody watching this, is there is a desire to get Kaller to identify herself strongly as Polestar. Am I doing that? Is that your guys' plan?
Yes.
And the idea is that if she's Polestar, well, Orlanth is not a star. So you're basically setting things up to have her be fairly weak when you challenge her, because she's going to be on.
Well, Orlanth is wind. He's movement. He's
not fixed.
Yeah,
and that's a big point.
Yeah, he's actually totally contrary to a star, to a fixed star.
Yep.
So exactly. So you have these gifts, and some of these gifts can really trip her up and strengthen her association with things that Orlanth is not. The question is, what's the best way of giving it to her? You know, the worst thing that could happen is you could offer her the shield and she could say, I do not accept this because I am not a star. And then
which would be weird because she has a star on her brow.
She has a star on her brow, exactly.
So she can't say that.
No, that's.
I mean, it's a hero quest. She might actually lose the star if she denies the star.
We could also, I mean, if you think about it, I would say that the people doing the arming of Gloranthan may be they were not going to be as challenging, and they're not expecting, as much concern about their role. So it actually might make a lot of sense to try and I wouldn't say but have her given that shield during the arming of Gloranthan.
So you're going to hold back some of the gifts.
I'm tempted to. I think it's I think it's a bigger bet, but it's a much bigger reward if she is wandering around in the underworld armed with that shield.
And again, to anybody watching this, part of the discussion that the players have had about this Hero Quest is it's almost a heist scenario with people trying to set things up so that, so that Kaller cons herself. And I think that's very mythically correct with Greg's stories. So you guys tell me, because you're up, you've headed up the winding paved road. And by the way, it's a paved road in Kala. Paved.
Very strange.
Your High Llama is so happy.
It's saying clip clop while it's walking.
It's clip clopping up. It's so comfortable. This is a paved road going up, twisting back and forth its way up the cliff to the valley of Boldhome. And you're heading high up into the mountains. Boldhome itself is over 1,400 meters above sea level. So, and this is late storm season. It's below freezing and it's snowing slightly. So, think about going up to somewhere in the Alps, in some valley in Austria or Switzerland at about 1,400 meters in March.
Colder than in my necropolis. I hate it.
It is much colder than Necropolis. It's even though it's only a few degrees below freezing, there's snow here. And the peaks, these mountains, are big and impressive. And Garen, you're a Sardarite. You can't help but feel good about this. Nisk, it's been a long time since you've been in this kind of country.
I probably don't remember it well.
I'm asking Orgor for my very warm black fur coat.
And Cobras?
Is he better again, Orgor?
She healed him.
I healed him.
Okay.
Yes, I need a Shalana Roy temple to get him properly in shape, but he's
I
dedicated
believe he's missing
to
a
me.
limb, isn't he?
Yeah,
No,
I thought he was still not well, but I mean, good for him.
I think his head
he's
needs
missing
some
a
healing
limb,
too.
isn't he? He lost a leg.
No, I hate it's still there, but he has problems to use it.
It's made. He can move around on it, but he can't.
But he really needs some trauma help as well, because that guy's been so abused. He's like the tragic hero of the entire story. Follow Orgor, gave his own book, write a novel.
Yeah.
So
Life of Orgor.
You guys make it up here, and finally Colbrast.
I'm happy, because that's like on the high seas when the weather is getting very interesting.
And Dad and Mom used to tell you what the weather was like in the Iggs Islands, way up in the north by the glacier.
Yeah.
That you've never
been
to.
Where they ate moss all day.
Where they ate moss. Yeah, isn't that your dad's name was Moss Eater?
It's the Moss Eater clan. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not many people know this. Now they do. So anyway, it's a bit of a I mean, I myself, of course, grew up in Skullport, so I'm not that used to very cold weather. But
yeah, you grew up in a Caribbean or Mediterranean island.
Yeah, but it's not it's better than the desert, I would say.
But Boldhome is an imposing and impressive site. And are we ready to actually enter it, or do you guys need some more thought?
Well, I get the only question for me is, and I'll recite the 5 items, and let's talk about which ones we give, and if anybody thinks we should give them later. Because I think the giving the gifts, all the animals now makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because
we don't want to be trouble with them either.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of it in terms of it. But you know, it's a big herd. It shows a lot of wealth. It's something that she is probably not going to refuse at all. There's no reason to, and it doesn't make sense to try and give it later. So we have a copper scythe. We have an egg made of iron. We have an iron measuring rod given to him by the Flint Nail Temple. We have the shield, which we said we're not going to give. And then we've got a piece of obsidian that looks like a tooth.
It's supposed to be a dragon's tooth.
It's a dragon's tooth.
Yeah.
And I would give number 5 last, the dragon tooth last, but I would give it now because it helps me define this being given as you know, it's from Argrath.
And I mean, is there any special significance in the other items apart from the shield? I mean, that seems the most obvious, but the others don't. I mean,
I think the dragon's tooth is just defining a gift from the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, but the copper sickle, the iron egg, and the dwarven measuring rod is.
I don't know. I mean, do we know? Is it
the egg
you could mythically consider?
What is the question?
Well,
do you have any idea about the significance of the other 3 gifts?
Well, I can look at this and I can say that if I give her the iron measuring rod, it is, you could argue that that's like a something for hand. It's the Flint Nail Temple, which is the dwarves. It's an item of structure and order. And you could even go back and you know, you wield the iron measuring rod just as an emperor would wield and mete out justice. Like you could challenge it as kind of playing it that way of a stasis line if you wanted.
If it's tied, sorry, if it's tied to the underworld, is that not? Is it too obviously kind of?
The measuring rod? What do you mean tied to the underworld?
Sorry, to flint nails. It's to the subterranean stuff.
I don't think it's I don't think the Mastali are underworld.
Okay.
But
the runes, this is worth thinking about. One of the runes that dwarves are most strongly associated with is
this is stasis rune, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Which is kind of
rune is the flip. It's the reverse of the movement rune, which is one of Orlanth's main runes.
Which is also then opposed to any kind of change. It could probably like just use that measuring rod as an emphasis of like the stasis of whole star remaining in the sky.
But we wouldn't say that now. We would just
no. Yeah, and it can be used later. Now it can be gifted as showing you the path. Like a good thing.
It's a measuring rod, so it's like a guaranteed length, right? It's like, you know, if you think of how many cubits by how many cubits, this is the cubit. Does that make sense?
One true.
Yeah, it's
iron
perfect.
Cubit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about another item in another game for a second there.
And the unenchanted iron egg, is that?
Yes. Does it have power, Jeff?
The iron egg.
Power?
It's
magical.
the opposite.
It's not been enchanted.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, but if something was alive in it, I would sense the
power. It has no
power
power rating. It has no spirit to it.
Okay.
But it's a hunk of iron and an egg.
I'm wondering if one of the things we could do, kind of half start to, obviously we were kind of talking about sort of this prior to the start, is kind of half convince her she's somebody else in the story. And I'm just wondering if any of these items could be used to just insinuate that. And I'm thinking,
all of them.
Yes, I'm thinking particularly an iron egg, very tied to earthenness and kind of opposed to sun and sky, might be a particularly good one.
Well, eggs are bird animals too. That's the other option.
True.
You've got the, you know, historically, I can't remember, the Iron Brock, right? Is a sun worshipping. Is a name.
Maybe it's a penguin egg.
Which pole?
Right. The point is, it wouldn't be able to fly, so you know that would be very.
But you're right. I mean, we could definitely use that. We could use these later as just if she accepts them as identifying, even if she doesn't want to.
So I'm just thinking we can start building that.
The copper scythe, I mean, scythes are what? They're a symbol of, the copper one would be like a symbol of a harvest, or it would be, I don't know if there are lunar connotations.
So harvest is the kind of the opposite of spring and rebirth, which is a positive for us.
And it's death too, obviously.
And death, yeah. Although whether that particular symbolism holds up in Gloranthan, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's also a symbol. The scythe is, the harvesting scythe is also a symbol associated with the grain goddesses, not with Orlanth.
So that's
it's an agricultural harvesting thing as opposed to a sword or a thunderbolt or a lightning bolt or a dragon's head.
But I think it's a bit far-fetched to identify her as something like that, because Kalar herself is very far from it, and it wouldn't be believable in a way in the story. I think we'd have to find another way to use the scythe than thinking harvest, because it's too peaceful, too calm.
We're going to cast her as if we can do it as Polestar, right?
Yeah.
Which is it's a warrior. Warrior, but it's from the sky. And we don't have to, we can talk about sun beating down on the harvest or something if we wanted to do that. But it's a symbol of grain. And it's a symbol of fixed agriculture. But it could also not be. I mean, we look at this, everything has to be that.
Moon.
A scythe can be a weapon. I mean, war scythes are a common enough weapon. So if we kind of counterpoint that with the fact that Orlanth is the sword, etc.
Continue on.
I think that's something, because I think and Carla Linda's point about we want to make this relatively subtle. I think so it doesn't come out as though we're marching in there going, guess who you are in the story.
Well, and also, I mean, she is going to
little barn tar
as all the way through as Orlanth anyway, when the ritual starts, right? So that's certainly the way she's going to track it, the way she's going to drive it. And she may not get, this is why we're just going to give them as items, as gifts, with a brief description of what they are, but a description nonetheless, without any of this preamble, right? We're not going to cast her, we're not going to use the words when we do it, or any of those pieces.
Mm-hmm. Could we in fact even to a certain degree disguise the true nature of the objects by describing them slightly differently when we give them to her?
I don't think we do that.
Without Garen being present, obviously. Although, that's not combat.
I appreciate of a wolf pirate, but I should definitely.
I don't know if we need to. I mean, they're all pretty obvious what they are. It's how.
But Jeff isn't here at the moment, so he'll be really surprised when we do it. I think just for that it would be fun.
Here is the iron toothpick of the giants we took, killing the giant.
So we could invent some descriptions for these things which actually make her think that we support her as Orlanth in the ritual.
I should definitely not be there for that.
It's not combat, Garen.
No, but I am nothing if not honourable, and that kind of deception, as brilliantly cunning as it is.
It's a joke. It's it's a prank. It's some fun for Holy Day.
But it could actually but that could actually harm Garen's honor challenge later in the game.
Exactly.
So he should really be.
He has 99 honor points. I mean, if he loses one more, then.
97.
I don't see the problem.
I mean,
I was at 100 once. I went down to 95 hanging around with you guys.
Yeah, and it shows. You've been far less honourable these last few weeks. It's just an idea.
No, I think it's a great idea. I'm not sure of how we would be able to spin it, except we could have a story of what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, have you guys figured out your gifts? Are we ready to move forward?
Well, we're going to basically give everything but the shield. We'll
Okay.
describe them, and the shield will be, we're going to try and inject that in, and find out who the people are going to basically be for the giving of it.
All right, so let's dive into this, because I want us to be able to, at the very least, move a little bit forward in time. You guys enter Boldhome, and there are guards here, all very ceremonial here. I mean, at this point, I believe the city is probably even got Humakti guards in order to show off the ceremonial importance of this. And they, of course, challenge who you all are. I think we've got a temporary. Gina, do we have a temporary glip here? Gina is.
I'm back. I'm back.
She's adjusting her internet.
Yeah.
So, Neil, you said the Nisk is casting charisma.
Yeah, he's cast charisma with extension, basically.
How
until
long
the
of an extension?
ritual. Sorry.
How long is the extension? How many points are you putting?
Well, if I think about it, for a High Holy Day, we've got High Holy Day today, and that's when you renew our magic, and you would do that anyway. If I think that I would have it for, if I did it for a month, then what would happen is that would basically go all the way through the Holy Day. I would have that for the whole Hero Quest too, correct?
Yes, you would.
Okay, and I think that given what we're trying to do from a contest perspective, and I will do that. So
oh my God! So what that means, I want to put this out.
Season, sadly, but that's what? 5 hero points.
5 here. This is because this is blowing all of his hero points.
Yeah.
But what it guarantees is his charisma is such that because it doubles his charisma, and his charisma is high to begin with. So basically, he's got a pretty much a halo of awesomeness around him. I mean,
you want my helmet to like make it even better?
I can give you my horn of intimidation in addition.
I'm sorry.
For the next month, Nisk, you are essentially an A-grade rock star.
Ooh.
You're basically, it's kind of like Mick Jagger walking into a room. It's that kind of thing where you've just got so much charisma going on that you can generally get your way through things as long as it's not really important to stop you.
Yep.
And that's how I handle, for the sake of it, really, really high charisma. It doesn't mean everybody's going to do whatever you say, even if it's against their interests or whatnot. But it's like dealing with a rock star. You're going to get your way unless it's really important for them not to let you get your way.
And people will remember him.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
okay,
this,
that might be a bit of a problem.
I'm the emissary for Argrath. There should be no less, right?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
It's just certain aspects of our heist, as it were, will have to be done by other people, not by the most recognizable new person in Boldhome.
I think you're the person arranging the shield to be done.
I might, yes.
Probably.
It's an interesting opportunity.
So
yeah, I'm just basically go in there, commanding, please, no please on that. I am the emissary of Argrath Dragonlord. I would say Nisk, Killer of Chaos, Nisk of the White Bull, and I come to greet Callier, the Starbrow Callier, who as Lord of Boldhome.
Okay, the guards here of the city. I mean, this is some exotic rock star from Prax with 100 animals, a big banner, a bunch of followers. What do you think they're going to do? Of course, they're going to escort your cattle to the cattle yard of Aritha, and let you all go to the Orlanth temple. I mean, of course. What are you shaking your head? What?
Why do I have like Jesus Christ Superstar and Age of Aquarius running in my head right now?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Sorry, just.
Oh, that's exactly the bit. Right? And I want to keep in mind, singing. This is, Glorantha is not a bureaucratic world. Sartar may be a powerful kingdom, but it isn't an organized bureaucracy. Charisma gets you through an awful, in many ways, it's a charismatic society. You have an expectation that people with a lot of charisma are favored by the gods. Who's going to block their way?
They're the rune lords, all of that pieces, right?
And so Nisk, with his godlike charisma, is able to have you guys. I mean, I don't know. Is anybody throwing rose petals or anything here?
I don't know. Are they throwing rose petals? Peasants in the street?
Well, stopping and watching as we go through. And there's
okay. I'll go in the front and actually see to it that some of the people that have rose petals and things to throw at him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Are they snacks?
That it looks like the crowd has been waiting for him, and start telling them who he is.
Oh, this is so. If anybody's familiar with the musical Jesus Christ Superstar, you know the bit where he comes into the city and everybody is singing and there's the crowds and people throwing stuff. That's what's going on here.
He's the Messiah. No.
He's a very bad boy.
It would fit so much better now if Calor actually fails our challenges and you take over. It's like,
Really?
whoa, it was meant to be. Yeah.
I like this.
Didn't know Orlanth was that charismatic, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
of course, he's got mastery.
Get your charisma from an Orlanth, just to give you context. The trickster.
Yeah.
Thermal.
Which also plays a role in the ritual.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Remember my readings.
Big time. Yep. He's one of the light bringers.
So basically you've got Nisk here doing his best Mick Jagger Jesus Christ imitation, heading up the streets with Garen. Garen is his imposing bodyguard, and then Kalan or High Lama, and Gina doing whatever it is she did. What?
Dancing, singing.
You've got Colbrast going up, going, "Hey kid,
power burying.
Want a clack? You want a clack, kid? Here's a clack. I want you to throw some rose petals." And it's stagecraft. It's rock and roll. It's amazing. And I'm going to share screen for a moment here and just show you guys Boldhome. So do you guys see this big map here?
Yeah.
Yep.
You all go through the gate, bring your cattle to 13, and then follow the road through the town, through the village here. And Boldhome is 10,000 people. And that may not sound an awful lot, but for anybody other than Gina, that makes it one of the biggest. I mean, it's not as big of a city as Nochit, but it's still a big city. It's a much bigger city than New Pavis.
Actually, when I enter the city, I lay down on the floor and kiss the ground. Finally, in a proper city.
Yes, this is a proper city. And you all head up and go over, you go over the bridge here, and there's snow piled up, and there's snow piled up on the edges of the streets.
Are we going to number 4, Jeff?
You're gonna go all the way to number 1.
Yeah, because when you move the map around, the map changes a lot. So just don't move your mouse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this okay?
Yeah, just leave it.
Yeah.
And you all head through, but I want you to. I love showing this. I'm zooming this in because you can get kind of a feel as you guys are doing your procession up. And it's a big festival. This is the great big Orland High Holy Day. So there's festivals, there's banquets, and up on the ridges there are sacrifices to Orlanth taking place. There's, you know, there's drinking, there's singing, there's feasts. And then there's your group of your merry group led by Nisk Jagger, you know, through the town here. And I'm going to move the mouse a little bit.
Jeff?
Yes?
For some more clacks, I'll send some people in front to announce that he is in town, and everyone is flocking to him because he's so great.
Oh, this is awesome. This is, I'm not going to make you roll on it because you've got the advantage. You've got a guy with a 30 plus charisma right now. So this
might
is,
as well make use of it.
Oh, exactly. But you're getting big buzz. People are excited about this. This is the sort of thing that, you know, that you know, there's a question. He's come from far off New Pavis. Is he a hero? Is this Argrath in disguise? Is it a demigod has shown up? Is this a spirit? You know, you can imagine the wild gossiping going on.
Could we spread the gossip that it's, you know, Orlanth in disguise?
Try to make some sort of a either a fast talk or an orate skill.
Well, yeah, maybe someone else should try that one.
Or
can't be me.
Oh, Katze. Sorry.
Just a second.
Fast talk?
Yeah, I'm just looking for it on the
Under communication on the left.
Oh, okay, because I never use it because I only have 15. Orate is, okay, Orate is 35.
We'll see. You can try.
Nope, doesn't work.
Okay, well, they assume it's hyperbola. And you head through the town and get to the 1,000 stairs. This great huge staircase that leads up to the royal palace that was built by dwarves. And this is of course where Kaller will be performing the rites to Orlanth Rex. And to her great grandfather, Sartar the Founder. So, and architecturally, building number 1 is amazing. It was built by the dwarves. So it's far more complex than anything in New Pavis. And frankly, it's something, Gina, that does compare to the Queen's Palace in Nochit. It's an amazing building. Look at this.
No. The Queen's Palace, it's a whole complex. That's a little bit different. I'm sorry. I mean, it is cool, but this is what I mean. How do we get all the animals up these stairs?
We're not.
We've already left them at the
We've left them.
counterparts.
We're done.
Oh, to see that.
You want to see it go up the stairs?
No one carries animals up 1,000 stairs.
50 bison up the stairs. Yay! No.
So you are able to get an audience there. There are the rituals and sacrifices to Orlanth Rex that is being presided over by Prince Kaller. You know, there are animal sacrifices going on by the Storm Voices, and Kaller is, you know, she is there presiding over this. But now you are announced as emissaries of Argrath of New Pavis. bearing gifts for the prince. And so you're able to get in this. This is exactly appropriate for the Orlanth Rex to have an audience with somebody that is a representative of a powerful person. And this is, so you're able to get this audience. And Kalar Starbrow is a woman in her, let me give you kind of a quick overview of her. She's in her late 30s, early 40s. She's also got a very high charisma. One might say inhumanly high, but she's not under the influence of a charisma spell right now. She is about ordinary size. She looks like a strong, athletic woman, and on her brow there is a glowing, bright white gem, that like a bright light on her forehead. In Kala, she has a very powerful POW, but there is a spirit there on her brow that is more powerful than is more than 5 points higher than her power.
And hers is
higher
within
than yours.
my range?
More than 5 points
More
above
than 5.
yours.
Okay.
It is in the zone of a minor god, very small god, but still something that could blow that star could blow you away in spirit combat. You're pretty sure of that.
Whoops.
Right, and it's bright and glowing in her head, and she nods to to whatever thane or doorkeeper or porter let you all in, and this is your chance to present yourself to her. So go for it.
Okay, we'll say that greetings, Lord of Boldhome. I come to you from far off Prax. Excuse me if but the rumors are true that the gem in your forehead shines as brightly as a star. It does not do justice to any of the things people have talked about. I come to you from far off Prax on behalf of Argrath, Dragon Lord, the Wild Bull. And I come on this great day, this momentous day, the holiest day of Orlanth, of great Orlanth, so we may sacrifice together. And I bring great gifts as the emissary of Argrath. I bring the great animals of Prax, those that he had used to help when he sacked the city with Jaldan Toothmaker. We have 50 bison, 49 sable antelope, and 10 war zebras, fully trained for cavalry, animals that should be used for war, not animals that should be used for food. These gifts we give to you in the name of Argrath, and we give them to the one who has retaken Boldhome from the Lunars. In the name of Argrath Dragonlord, he who rose the great dragon which destroyed the temple of the reaching moon. I give you some other gifts as well.
That she seems a bit surprised by that claim.
Okay.
And don't forget Prince of Pavis and Heir of Sartor.
I haven't said that yet. That's right.
Oh, okay.
She seems more than a bit surprised by that claim.
Okay.
Good.
We give you this. It is a copper scythe, finely honed, and I'll describe better what a scythe is. Other treasure I have for you is an egg made of iron.
She asks, and what is the meaning of this copper scythe? Speaker for the White Bull.
the scythe is a symbol of many things. It is a symbol of the harvest. It is a symbol of fertility. And of course, I've got fertility runes on me here as well, so that goes sense there.
She accepts it.
Okay. We give you another. There is another gift from Margrath, an egg made of iron, and this egg is from iron that has never ever been enchanted, to do with as what you will, to form as you would like, and to bring forth what you would like, just like the bringing forth of the freedom of Boldhome.
Again, she accepts it. But she seems a little bit cautious about it, but accepts this, and accepts this with thanks.
Another thing I give to you in the name of Argrath, and I'm always using that term just because that's what I guess I should be doing. Given by allies of Argrath, those of the flint nail temple in dwarves. It is a measuring rod of iron whose size is always exact, which has been kept by the temple there in the flint nail, used to hand that one over to measure and structure.
At this point, she looks at you very carefully. How high is your charisma? It's like 34 right now. 34.
I'm not counting no spirit magic, of course.
Maybe if you grin nicely, she will relax. Maybe if you grins a bit, she will relax.
It's kind of got that dorky grin, as we talked about, the Jeff Goldblum kind of look, right?
Again, she accepts this as as a symbol of Sartar's friendship with the dwarfs. But she actually makes a statement like this. Nobody is now talking in that. Previously, there had been people mumbling prayers and such and having conversation. At this point, it's now very, very silent in this room. And in Kala, you can see there's lots of spirits now watching. They're all quiet, but they're watching what's going on here.
There is one more gift, Queen, and that is to give you a dragon's tooth, a symbol of Argrath Dragonlord. He was the White Bull, the Prince of Pavis, and heir of Sartar. I'm doing exactly what he asked me to tell him.
She says, I have heard of this white calf. And she deliberately calls it, I'm assuming that in Sartarite, there's like the equivalent of the German Chen, where you can give a diminutive at the end of it. And so instead of calling him the white bull, she throws a little diminutive at the end, which has it mean, white baby cow.
Perfectly ties in with what we've heard about a character up to now. So
she says, she says, this white calf is the back boy of the white bear, if I recall correctly. back boy being a
I know what the back boy is.
Yes, of the white bear. Basically, she's accusing Argrath of being essentially Robin to Herrick the Berserk's Batman.
I get it.
But there's also a connotation of being Patroclus to Herrick's Achilles.
I would say that Argrath is the white bull. Let her finish.
Do you say anything?
Well, let her finish her statement first, and I will reply.
She asks her court, where was this white bull or white calf when I led the tribes in revolt against the empire? Where was he when we defended Whitewall against the might of the Red Emperor, the College of Magic, and the Crimson Bat? Where was this white bull, or this so-called white bull, this self-proclaimed heir to Sartar, when Orlanth was dead? She says, yes. He was the back boy of Herrick the Berserk, was he not? One of his lieutenants. She says, I will not accept the symbol of this white calf or faker dragon lord. She figures that this was, and all the spirits are watching this in Kala. All the spirits in the room are watching this and now looking to see what sort of response that you have. She says, though, that she accepts your other gifts in gratitude and in grace. Offers you her hospitality and her protection, as is right for the prince.
I thank her for that. Yeah. And obviously, I show no sense of offense by her not accepting it. Nor do I feel a need to argue with her about what the real term of why is white bull. Nor do I feel the need to say the fact that it is Argrath who's traveled into the underworld. Beneath the sea at this point.
You should probably explicitly thank the Lord of Boldhome, so as not to.
Garan, like trembling with anger at your side. The only reason he's not done something really stupid is because he's your bodyguard and he would never risk that relationship. But he is furious.
How furious? How pissed off is Garan here?
Like his hands are shaking with anger.
Yeah.
And in Kala?
No, it's amusing banter. It's kind of interesting to hear, but I do think Culbreast had an important point here that was kind of that she was giving us the gift of hospitality as Prince of Sartar. We should accept it from, and whatever other titles we were allowed to.
I've already actually given her every title.
Yeah.
We
can't give her.
asked for.
We can invent a new one. No.
I will say great.
We let Garan invent a new title.
How about we thank her as ruler of the second best city in the world?
Thank her.
Yeah.
Well, how do you thank her?
Thank her for her hospitality as ruler of the second best city in the world.
I also don't want to
second greatest city in the world.
Everything and every casting now, because it becomes more obvious if you do it all at once, right? So I will thank her for the gift of hospitality, and to Boldhome. I would say, is clearly one of the greatest cities in the world, and look forward to celebrating the rights of Orlanth, King of the Gods.
Garan, you think you're mad. She's also pissed here. She is clearly upset and angry. She is clearly angry. She looks at you, Nisk, and she says, I do not know what game you are playing, but you and your white calf are playing. But I am, you will find me a dangerous opponent. She clearly, when you pulled out that dragon's tooth, and called Argrath Sartar's heir, you clearly crossed a line in her mind.
I know.
Yeah,
But that's also that's one of the tests, right?
yeah. But she did
yes.
have a very strange reaction to claiming the dragon rise on Argrath. It was like a surprising.
Didn't she claim to have done that herself at one point?
Yeah.
Yes, the stories that you heard in Swenston is that Keller Starbrow was the one responsible for raising the dragon.
Yeah, only one could have done it.
Glad we set that to rights.
Yeah, he's convinced now.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. So I now have a dragon tooth to prove it.
But you all are given her protection and her hospitality. She does not invite you to stay in the palace or any of this sort of stuff. She does not offer you, there are degrees of hospitality that someone could offer, and she doesn't give you the lowest.
Second lowest.
But one of the, it kept going up until that dragon tooth and that claim, all those other claims came, and it went no higher than that. So
Actually
you
went
are
down level.
Yeah. But
maybe it's a good thing we didn't give her the shield as well. Otherwise, we'd probably be, sleeping in the stables or something.
Stables are fine.
Clearly, it's obvious that she thinks you're up to no good, and there is a
we're innocent.
But with that, she you have the leave to participate in the rituals here. She's not kicking you out of the rites going on here in the palace. It's just that this isn't where you're gonna be lodging.
Right.
So with that, what we can do is, I don't think we really need to break this down into tiny bits, of what you do minute by minute. There are the high holy, the high holy day ceremonies, but there are some people that want to talk to you all, and there are, for example. Let me just get to this here. Among the people that are here in the court that wish to have a moment of your time is a Marin Gore priestess and her Grayslander bodyguard. And she's a Marin Gore priestess. She's clearly from the Shaker's Temple. And the Shaker's Temple is this big earth temple complex in Dragon Pass. It's one of the few ones that the few earth temples in Dragon Pass that even the Israelians acknowledge is really important. It's the home of Marin Gore, Ernalda's sister. Additionally, there's somebody that immediately decides Nisk is the coolest guy around. And it is an elderly drunkard. There's this old guy, probably in his 60s, who after this, a few minutes, basically after you withdraw from Keller, He comes over and he says, young man, would you join me for a couple of bowls of wine? We can take it from the queen, or we can take it from the prince, and it's better than we could probably buy in our own right. Would you join me, young man, for some wine and maybe a smoke or two?
I'm a Hasia smoker. I definitely would spend a little bit of time, probably not immediately, if you know what I mean. I'll say that a little bit later, just because I want to get a lay of the land first. I would be kind of that way, but I don't think I would say no either.
He says, after a show, that's been the most interesting thing I've seen in this whole damn useless court. And he says, I think they even have fire water here.
What?
Ooh.
Or clear wine.
He says,
no,
screw clear wine. Who cares? Clear wine's just wine. Dwarf fire water.
Dwarf fire water. I tried that.
Says, young man, have you ever had dwarf fire water?
That stuff burns.
Yeah,
it does burn.
I don't know if I have, but I think my astute companion Kilbrest certainly has. He's a connoisseur.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Well, this guy,
drink.
Is this the guy? Is this the house trickster?
This guy introduces himself as he apologizes for this. He introduces himself as Chipmunk Bing. He says he's kept around for ornamental purposes, sentimentality on our very unsentimental prince.
Lord,
prince, queen bitch.
Well, yeah. So this fire water you were talking about.
Yes, he's very happy to do this. He seems to think you all are grand fun. And what fire water is a amber, clear amber liquid without bubbles or anything in it. Have you ever had fire water, Colbrest?
I would have to look in my notes, but I think we might actually have had once.
Poor Garen. Fire water is it is distilled wine, brandy.
Very good.
And he suggests that you have a bowl and he has a bowl.
It's a good job one of us is staying sober in this den of vipers.
But yes, so the Chipmunk Bing has decided you guys rock. And you guys rock because he says, I've been wanting to tell off Caller since, well, how I did tell her off. Since that pointless rebellion that we were all part of. Make a Garen or Nisk, can you make a Homeland Sartar roll? Area lore Sartar or Homeland
35,
lore.
so that would be success.
Chipmunk Bing, how about you, Garen? Did you fail?
No, it was a success.
Chipmunk Bing is a trickster. He's a clown. He's a clown, and a clown is a type of Ermal holy man. But he was also part of the Sartar High Council that led Sartar to rebellion against the Lunar Empire 12 years ago. So he's a very famous trickster.
Interesting person to talk to, obviously.
He doesn't seem to have a lot of fondness for the prince. But he's also here in the court.
Is he her trickster?
Nobody's. I'm my own man, kid.
I'm not asking him that.
Anyway, Chipmunk, what did you want to tell her off about? Have another bowl of firewire, firewire.
Oh, he'll tell you that she has a gigantic, as far as he's concerned, she has a gigantic stick up her ass. Always has, always will.
Yeah, well.
He says it's not surprising he says, you want to get on her nerves? Tell her she's wrong.
That easy, is it?
What?
That easy.
That easy. Oh, it's that easy. He says, haven't you noticed there's no Arnaldo priestesses here? I mean, other than her house ones, they all hate her. But she can fight, I guess. She can fight, and she's got a cool star in her forehead.
What?
You don't see that every day.
What did she do immediately prior to the Dragon Rise?
She was an adventurous rebel leader. She led rebel force, or whatever it is that she called.
I mean, was she in a tent?
He, by the way, is quite drunk.
Was she in a tent for, say, 2 weeks, wreathed in Hazia for ages?
She would be so much better. She would be so much more tolerable. So much. I don't think she ever has fun.
No. You should try the Court of Argrath. That's a man who knows how to have fun.
Says Garrett.
On his good days, yes, on his good days.
There is nobody.
I will say that I'm afraid I have some others who would like to talk. I'd like to talk to, but I have a gift for you. And I open a packet and I pull out and I hand him to this. I do not think that she would appreciate this gift the way you would. But what I will tell you is this is fresh Hazia.
Oh, he happily accepts
I give one of my
that.
parts of Hazia.
He goes out and he says,
I go
one good gift deserves another. And he reaches and he's got a bunch of bags and a bunch of pouches. And he comes out and he's got this bunch of dried fungus or something. And
no.
That sounds brilliant.
What? What was that, Akala?
Have we? Well, Linda knows, but I'm not sure Ankala does.
He's like, oh, he says one good gift deserves another, and hands you over this this pouch of dry fungus. He says, I wouldn't do it here though.
Fair enough.
You might see the comedy inherent in the court, and she hates that. She hates that.
Okay. Well, we've got the Marangor priestess too. We don't want to keep them.
Okay, so there is also a youngish priestess of Marangor, and there is one of these Grazelanders that seems to be her bodyguard or her counselor or a friend or something, and she does not want to speak here at the court. But says that she is sent here by the Feathered Horse Queen. And do your characters know who do you players know who the Feathered Horse Queen is?
I do. I don't think you should tell everybody.
Okay, the Feathered Horse Queen is the most important Earth Priestess in Dragon Pass. She is the ruler, even though she's an Earth Priestess, she is the ruler of the Grazers, who are horse riding people, and their protector. But she's also seen by pretty much all of the Arnalda cults and Marangor cults in Dragon Pass as the first among equals, the senior and most important Earth priestess in Dragon Pass.
But only in Dragon Pass, not in Notchet.
Right. No, but still really important. Even in Notchet, they acknowledge that her temple is very important. And she wants to be able to talk with you. And she says this is perhaps not a good place.
Well, give us a time and a place, and we will make every effort to be there.
She is. Let me just make sure that this place still exists. Why, yes, it does. She is. She would be pleased to host you in the Grayslands Emissary, which is basically, there is a villa near the royal palace that technically belongs to the Feathered Horse Queen.
For a meal.
For a dinner, a symposium.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Sartor married the Feathered Horse Queen, by the way.
Yeah.
That's how he became the king of Dragon Pass, was by marrying the Feathered Horse Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Feathered Horse Queen is a very, very important person in Dragon Pass.
His kingship is chosen by Ronaldo.
I asked Orgor to bring our calendar over to put the meeting in.
So the question I have is, you guys are going to participate in the Holy Rites. Are you guys going to try to? Where are you guys going to stay in Boldhome? I mean, this is kind of like going to a big festival. It very well could be. Nisk and Colbrast could basically treat this like going to Woodstock or to Burning Man or something like this. I don't know where I'm staying. I don't really care. And just run into it.
We have an
certainly with Charisma 34. You just
exactly. As long as you're tagging along with Nisk, somehow things will just kind of work out.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the missionaries that came with us. We've got the herders, who will hand off, and then they'll have to have a place to stay. And they're Praxians, so they're going to be a little more struggle. They're not going to be as comfortable here. And we've got our warriors. So we should probably see if we could get something like a small villa or something for now, as a place to stay.
By the way, did I understand the concept of hospitality wrong? Does it not mean we already have a place to stay?
You could theoretically stay on the floor of the palace.
That is, I mean, as a pirate, I don't mind sleeping on the floor.
We're not sleeping on the floor.
In the palace, you might, notice stuff.
We are emissaries of Argrath, Prince of Pavus. We're not staying on a damned floor.
Ever since you became Thane, you've become so boring. Now this guy used to sleep in hammocks made of whale hide.
You get a lot of info, but what I'm saying is that we need. Sadly, we need to basically set ourselves up as a political force to be reckoned with, and we're not going to get that by staying on.
Enough. So we can do both. You can have a villa and sleep on the floor of the palace.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's a.
Okay, it sounds like what you're wanting to do is commission an inn.
Sure. Yes, that would make sense. We're pretty used to that.
All right. I'm first going to start out by, are you looking, inns are rated on a 1 through 4 star rating. 4 star being the preserve of visiting dignitaries and the very rich. with teams of servants who take care of every need.
Mm.
A 1-star is a place for poor travelers, foreigners, prostitutes, unemployed mercenaries, refugees, and petty thieves. You can imagine 2 is closer to 1, 3 is closer to 4. What kind of star? I want to start by what kind of star are you guys looking for?
I'm sorry, but I'm actually planning to go to the temple.
We'll be able to do that. Are you going to stay at the temple?
Yes.
Your temple? Okay. So we'll handle that in a moment.
I mean, I need the support, so I have to stay there.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
How about the rest of you guys?
I would definitely not do a 4. I think it's too frou-frou. In terms of this, we're warriors of Argrath. We're not, you know.
Yeah, but Nisk, with your halo, I'm pretty sure you will be offered a bed, maybe with some people inside, but whatever.
Well, and that's the other thing. You guys could just kind of treat this as doing whatever you guys want to do. I mean, I want to have an idea. Do you guys want to set up a base, or do you guys?
I want a base, but I don't. You know, but we're free to do whatever. But there's a place to link up. I think it's almost tempting to say that because we, you know, we could really spread some seditious rumors because Callier does not treat, you know, her emissaries, you know, well enough for the hospitality and stay at a lower place just because. That is one option.
Yeah, she's cheap.
She
I think
feels
as a rock star missionary, you should set up our magnificent Moroccan tent somewhere.
Oh my God.
Stay at a Praxian style.
Yes.
Oh, you have it.
Yes.
Let's set up a little
Perfect.
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just showing the difference. I love it.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So we still get what we want. We get this thing, but we get a tent.
Yeah. Oh, that is so perfect.
I'll just get some water as well. Actually,
well, Jeff, GM, was it in Paris or was it in Boldhome where you find these Praxian tents?
Sorry?
Oh, Jeff is not there. I know. I cannot remember where I read it. Was it in Boldhome or was it in Paris where you actually really find the tents in the city between the houses?
Oh,
Boldhome doesn't look like it has tents in it if you look at the map.
Yeah, maybe the poor areas, but we would not have it between the houses. We would have a field.
We could pitch this in a courtyard or at a marketplace in the middle. It would be perfect for Praxis nomad.
Are you guys going to set up a camp?
Jeff, I have a question.
In the middle of some.
I have a question. In was it Paris or was it Boldhome where you find actually really the nice tents instead of a house in between the houses? It is in one of the books. I know that.
There are.
I think it was in Paris.
It might be it wouldn't be here.
Okay.
But there are areas, there are fields that you would be able to camp on.
I want to do it in the middle of some kind of marketplace or something.
Yeah. Somewhere where people notice.
Yeah.
I do not know you guys.
That's okay.
I promise, Rolia, I want to have dignity, I want to have luxury, I want to have...
You can work from the shadows, no problem.
Yes.
I mean, other things in theory that you could claim, the tribes also maintain hostels here for members of that tribe. Garen and Nisk, aren't you both Kolibar?
Yeah.
I mean, you could try to get you could try to stay at the tribal house. You could.
We sort of zeroed in on our awesome Moroccan tent, to be honest.
You could do the Moroccan.
I want to sit in there and smoke and have people wander in and wonder what's going on.
Because then they'll talk.
I mean,
and we can invite them to drinks and make it happening. I mean, we've got. The rock star in town is in our tent. Everyone will want to visit.
Is there actually?
That amuses me to no end.
Is there actually an Israeli embassy as well?
There's a temple, right? Earth Temple. Oh, it's
there is a Grayslander embassy, and there is a I believe that there is a yes. There is even an Israelian, a place that's been given over to it actually belonged to Belentar.
Okay. Can I get there a proper Israelian modern haircut? And my hair properly modernly braided, because Ogre is a little bit shaky in the moment. I will drop him off at Shalana Roy Temple to fix him up. And but there are a few things I have to get up to date.
It sounds like what we're having is the party is kind of gonna break up here in Boldhome, at least to a small amount. Gina is going to go to the Earth Temple or to the Queen's Palace and try to find Israelians.
I will do both. I will stay in the Earth Temple because this is important. If they have somewhere a little grave, a little necropolis, or a little, I don't know, catacomb or so, where I can actually pray a little bit, that would be great, and sleep there.
Well, your goal is to define yourself as the priestess of Taikor Atek, right?
Yeah, that's the reason why I need my catacomb.
Okay. There is an urn field.
Oh, good.
So what they do here is they don't have like a necropolis. What they do is they burn the dead, and then they put their bones and what's left of them into a jar and bury them.
Can I dance around them?
Of course.
Good.
But they're very big on burning the dead here.
It's fine with me.
Putting the remnants in a jar and burying that. Inkala, Kolbras, Garen, and Nisk. So you guys are going to set up your. I mean, there probably are other people doing setting up tents as well.
But none of them have this awesome tent we have. We've got our flag on it, the white bull thing on it, right in front.
Well, what I'm going to ask is, where do you pitch it? Do you pitch it right near
in front of the palace? I think.
Oh, yes.
Well, I want to be a little more, you got to be a little more subtle than that. In terms of why?
Can we look at the map again?
The more, I mean, otherwise it's not,
yes.
You're going to have no surprise. You're not going to have any ability to,
do you guys see this here?
Not yet, no.
Yep. Yeah. If it's a little bit off, it could be more than a little off, because then we could gather our own following, kind of apart from.
So you're saying there's stuff down there. Yeah, that would be a fine area.
Which area?
Right below number 1 there.
Okay, number 1 is the Flame of Sartar.
I mean, are these Holy Lands Garden? What is it?
So below the Flame of Sartar would be fine.
Yes.
As a symbol, sort of, we are the emissaries of the air of Sartar, so we could stay there with our tent.
The orange 1, where I currently have it, that's where the Gracelanders are.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow 5, that is where the Queen's Palace is. Let me just double check. Yeah. And number 4 is is an amphitheater.
What's number 26?
What color?
It's orange 26.
Orange, that's the horse market.
Let me throw out an idea, because we're thinking to preparing for the hero quest. So if I would try to get us a place of one of the very fertile fields of the Analder Temple.
Yeah, that's 14 temple. Is the Earth Temple.
Because Analder, wife of Orland, Orland's protector of Analder, so you could actually, maybe we could put up a claim that we're there, and I don't know, maybe there's already, we build up a connection between our support for Orland and Analder or so, I don't know. Or is this...
What do you guys think of that?
I think it's fine. I have no problem if they're one. Our issue is, are they going to be? Their fields are usually not for animals; they're for crops. That's my only concern.
No, they have also animal fields. Of course, they have also animals.
Not as much as Arytha that we're used to.
Yeah, but they have some there.
Yeah.
I mean, they get animal gifts all the time.
I still think slightly more central place would be better.
That would be by below the flame of Sartre then.
Yeah.
So we have it about the question, what is more useful? Something which is gives us some bonus points for the hero quest, or something where you feel good because you're in the center and be seen for your ego.
Well, depending what we're trying to do, we're trying to get allies and bring that. Where do we need to be? And
I'm going to point out on the map where the places you guys have talked about. So you got C number 1 up there.
Yeah.
Flame of Sartar. So down below there. Number 14, that's the Earth Temple. See these fields around here, but you could also, there's some areas that don't look cultivated right over here. Number 13, that's the Arytha cattle area. And it's got fields near it.
There's one thing which is actually against number 1, because the area where you could put up a tent, it's not straight, so you would always roll down when you sleep. It doesn't look straight.
It looks perfectly flat.
Sure.
It's pretty flat. It's not hilly, no.
There, it's a little bit like a hill. I would interpret the map.
Not really.
You don't want to roll down when you sleep.
I've slept in far worse places, so
we all have.
Care at all. But the point is, I don't follow the logic why we should stay at the Analda Temple. That's all.
Sorry, Jeff. There's a final thing you said.
The final bit is there's also a grassy area near the Grayslander.
Yeah, since the Gracelanders want to talk to us, it could also be interesting.
But Gina, you're not sleeping in the tent, are you?
I know.
So why don't you let us put up the tent?
The Grayslander one's interesting.
If I would be you, I wouldn't actually putting it on the graveyard.
Yeah.
Because you would always have good company.
No, if we would
not
you.
be good company. I have this one spirit keeps staring at me every time I wake up. One is enough. So yeah.
Is that still going on?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I wake up every morning. Huh?
Okay, Garen, what do you think? Where should we pitch our tent?
I would think somewhere near either the bridge or underneath the Flame of Sartar. I think that being underneath the Flame of Sartar is good from a hero questing point of view. I think we've got the flame above us, the light above us, and it kind of...
There is no flame lit, by the way.
Say again?
There is no flame lit.
No, it's not.
No, but that's kind of the point. That she's doing the hero quest because she wants to relight the Flame of Sartar. We are going to be challenging her. We're kind of going to be...
Is that too obvious?
Possibly, but then there's
It's obvious at one point. I think she did actually already notice that there's something going on.
There's a lot of people in Boldhome, and that kind of grand symbolic gesture isn't necessarily a bad thing. Or we go near the bridge, which is around number 28, I think, on the map, and give ourselves lots of room and make ourselves very, very obvious. So to either attract people or to make it very, very clear that we're kind of that we're something different.
Oh, we are something different. We're an amalgamation of many cultures, which I think is a strength of ours.
I would still love to be like in the middle of a marketplace where I could just walk out in my flowing robes and walk over to some place to have something to drink and say hello to the fans and go back. That would be really nice.
Adequately naked, obviously.
Well, I'm always half naked.
Yeah.
So
You tell me. This is the last question that we have, and then I'd like to wrap it up for the evening.
Okay.
So
I'd rather not have it by the Gracelanders right now, because otherwise there may be an assumed, we don't want to put pressure on that.
Alliance, yeah.
So I would vote below the Flame of Sartar.
Okay.
Yeah. because I'm still hoping for this scene where Nisk is with Kala in a room, and you have this sort of Bond meets the villain scene where both know exactly what's going on and they're very, very courteous.
Well,
so I think we need to be obvious about this.
I could see that.
They're very nice, and in the end, they're ending up in a bed, and then they shoot each other.
I didn't see that film, but yeah.
That is another way to do this ritual, by the way.
Yep.
I do have the fertility rune at 80%.
Yeah, in the moment, you're so Prince Charming, so...
But she's already got a lover. That's the issue.
Yeah, she can have two.
Okay.
You can title yourself Prince Charming in the Hero Quest.
With this gang, I'd like to stop at this point because it's now about 11:30 at night. But I think we actually made a lot of big progress. You guys have your little camp. Next session will probably be all about politics and information gathering, and the session after that, my expectation is we will be diving into the big Hero Quest.
Okay.
So thank you all for watching this. I hope it was good fun. I want to thank all my players because they always make it fun for me. And I'll see everybody next week.
Take care.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.